had to talk about learning today and expectations and streams and stuff like that. I realized that there's like a compounding issue when it comes to playing and learning fighting games on stream with the chat room and other people. Mostly, everybody gets really pissed at the way I learn fighting games, or at people learning fighting games in general, and I've realized that there's like two main conundrums that people run into when it comes to watching other people learning fighting games or other people getting into fighting games in general. So back when I was learning Skullgirls, and then now with Fexel, a lot of people got really frustrated that I try the game, I jump in there, I try to figure out, I do the tutorials for the game, I try to figure out what character looks interesting to me, and I just go play online. In the case of Skullgirls, a lot of people were really mad that I went online and I didn't know a full team. I knew like one character and I knew like half a character, how to use their assist, right? And I didn't even know all my my supers for my character. I didn't even know how to do my level 3. I just went and played. And in Fexel, a lot of people were really frustrated that I just went online and I went to play the game. I didn't know how the Gogi system works. I didn't know really anything else about any of the other characters. I just tried like 3 characters and just went online and played. In the case of TFH, like I played Oleander and I didn't know how to use Fred, which is like the main summon that the character has if you spend all your meter. So I just played the character with fireballs and neutral game, and like I just did that. And in all of these cases, everybody got really, really pissed about the fact that I didn't try to learn everything about the game or everything about my character before going online. They're like, Sajam's playing online and he's losing and he doesn't even know how the Gogi system works. Of course he's gonna lose. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not going online to win. I just want to go online and play the game. And I was thinking about this, why people are so weird in fighting games about you learning. Why are people so frustrated about this? And I try to think of another game that's similar. I thought about chess. Could you imagine, chat, if before you were allowed to go play a game of chess, you had to study every single opening, you had to know the Morphe defense to the Rui Lopez, and you had to understand the London system, and you had to fianchetto your bishop, and you had to have the perfect strategy to deal with every openings and not get scholars mated, and you have to have all this strat, and you had to know all of that before you could just go online and play one match against another human. It's not how it works. You learn how your pieces move on the board, and you just whoop, and you just move them forward. Oh, pawn go burr. It can move 2 in the beginning. That's broken. That's twice as much as usual. It's going forward. Dude, the horse can go in an L or a little L? Hell yeah. We're L'ing it up, brother. Like, you just do it. In fighting games, you don't have to learn everything before you go online and play. In fact, it is unbelievable to expect people learn everything about a game before they go online. And when I go online early into a game, my goal is not to learn everything about the game. The first thing I do every time is I play the tutorial. Then after I play the tutorial, whatever tutorials the game has available, which is why I did the expert mission modes for Fexel or whatever, I pick a character. That order, right, it might depend. If the game has a general tutorial, I do that first. If it has a character tutorial, I find a character, do the character tutorial, right? I always do it. 1, I want to see what the character's capable of, and I want to try the tutorials for the game. And 2, I want to see how the game's methods of teaching you are. Because it's important for me when people come into the chat and say, I want to learn Fexel. Do you have any advice? I won't say, hey, go play the tutorial. Hey, do the mission modes, right? If someone comes in and says, hey, I want to learn Uni. You have any advice? I'm going to say, play the tutorial, play the character missions, and try the character missions out, and then you're good, right? Depending on the game, you want to know what's available in the game to teach people. And you want to know yourself how the experience of learning the game is like. I just put myself in the shoes of a new player learning the game, and I go and do that. Once I do that, I do one of 2 things. There's 2 paths I go on next. I either watch match footage or I play the game, depending on how easy it is to do one or the other. Now, for me, I didn't know where I was going to go find good Fexel match footage, so I just went and played the game. Here's the disconnect. The reason I go and play the game quickly after trying the game is because, like I've mentioned before, playing the game is where you find problems, and training mode is where you find solutions to them. The reason I go and play the game online is because when I was learning Fexel, I thought to myself, this Terry character, look at, he's got this far normal that seems good. He's got this normal that seems good. I think I'm going to keep people away with this normal and that normal and that normal. And you can imagine that once the match started, I realized everything I was looking at in training mode was a waste of time. I realized that very quickly, the game is not like that. It's not about how far my normal is on the ground and zoning people out. The game is fast, it's snappy, it has quick dashes, you can slide in with momentum, you get combos like that. Run low or run jump is very strong, you can bait throws with jump. I learned so much about the game that I didn't know while I was in training mode. And just by playing online for like 30 or 40 minutes, I now know how to go back into training mode and look for things that are going to be useful for my character when playing against other humans. I didn't even care what the Gogi system did because I'm too new. I can only absorb so much in my brain. I learned my character's special moves, most of them. I learned my character's supers, most of them. And I just went online and played to get the feel for the match. And I talked about this yesterday, but when you're learning a new game, there's so much you have to figure out. If you're like me and you played Marvel vs. Capcom 3, you picked Dante, right? Because you love Devil May Cry and Dante's cool. And I saw that Dante had big sword normals and he could hit the entire screen on the ground. And I thought Dante is the sickest, coolest character ever. So then I went online and I thought to myself, well, no character can defeat Dante. His sword goes full screen. It's forever. And then I looked up in the sky and these motherfuckers, you like that? They're flying in the fucking air. And I realized, oh, who cares if my sword goes far on the ground? This is the kind of game where you can fucking fly. I need to like figure out the pace of the match. I need to figure out how to move fast. I need to figure out how to fight in the air. You can do that by playing against other humans or by watching match footage. So in Fexel, I just went online and played. I didn't expect to win. I just played to get a feel for the match. And by the beginning of the match and by the end of the match, I had a much better understanding of the pace of how things work. People really think when you learn fighting games, no playing allowed. You must dedicate your life and time and you must swear off on sex until you've learned and mastered the Gogi system and all the other things about the game. I mean, even in a game like Melty Blood, there's no tutorial in Melty Blood. The game is like a bootleg community edition that has rollback netcode. There's no tutorial. I went into training mode. I picked the character. I was like, I don't really know how this game works at all. I went and played online. After I played online, I came back to training mode and was like, okay, I have new things to figure out and understand. Game like Uni, right? I played the basic tutorial, the advanced tutorial. I had to find a character. After that, I had to do their mission modes, which were really long. It took me like 2 streams to even get to playing someone because the game had so much tutorial content to go through. If Fexel had a basic tutorial, an advanced tutorial, a character tutorial, like I would have went through that content before I played online. I do what the game has available and then I go on to the next thing. The second thing that I've realized about learning games on stream, I don't know if this is like a me problem, if it's a chat problem, or if it's a combination of the two. There is like this weird disconnect between my analysis and how I am as a commentator and me trying to learn games. What I've realized is like people have this really strange expectation that because I know a lot about the games I commentate for my job, and because I know a lot about the games that I work on, that when it comes to games I'm learning that I'm brand new in, I will learn and know everything about them and have like a level of knowledge that is just like, I have to know everything about the game. It's just not true. I'm just a normal human. The games that I'm interested in, I've invested hundreds of thousands of hours and times and minutes into thinking about and working on and studying and etc. These games, I'm picking up on stream for fun to try them, to show other people, hey, learning new fighting games is dope, and to see if I like them and support them if they have good netcode. That's it. My goal is not to be the most knowledgeable human about them. I'm not going to start out that way. My end goal is not that way. I'm just going to pick up the game and give it a go and see how it is. And if it's cool, it'll be in my rotation of games that I play. And if it's not, I'll give it a shot. And if I don't like it, I can maybe recommend it to people who it might fit their style. But there's like weird expectations. And when I don't have good knowledge of it, people are very upset and frustrated. They have such weird expectations of the level of knowledge I, first of all, want to have, but second of all, could have. And I don't desire to learn these games in that way. I just want to pick up the game and show what the learning process is like. That's it. By the way, when I'm playing a game like Street Fighter or Dragon Ball or Grand Blue, like a game I'm commentating a lot, I study the game all day. I think about the game all day. I watch matches for the game all day. I try to improve my commentary for it all day. When I play something like Fexel, I will ignore it off stream. I only learn it on stream so that when I play it, my experience of learning the game is accurate to what it actually is. I don't watch matches for it off stream. I don't go look up tutorials of it. Everything I learn about the game is on stream. I don't want to like do day 1 of learning Fexel is me like, I don't know how anything works. Day 2, I come back and I'm like, all right, guys, let me show you my sick combo and this Gogi setup I have and this is, and everybody's like, dude, how did Sajam learn so fast? Oh my God. Yeah, I don't want that to be the case. I want to go in with as little knowledge as possible. It's better that way. Better for me and better for you guys. And it's a better representation of what learning a game's like. Like, how many fighting games have I learned in the last, like, 6 months, right? You know, when it comes to picking up a new game, I constantly have to do a new cycle of learning things, right? Brand new. It's going to take me time. But yeah, that's what I was going to say about learning. People have really strange expectations about it. I remember people in Skullgirls being like, Sajam is doing a disservice to learning the game. He doesn't even know the input for his character's level 3 and he's going online. Dude, it's not the end of the world. You're allowed to go online and play these games without perfect knowledge. In fact, I can guarantee that the people who play these games don't have perfect knowledge. There's no way they do. You shouldn't expect someone brand new to have perfect knowledge. People don't want to see you bypass the gatekeeping they fell for. Dude, I mean, some of the happiest fighting game players I know are people who know so little about the games they play. They play like 6 games and they're just like, dude, these games are tight. I love playing these games. I always have fun. They don't care if they win or lose. They just want to smash the other dude with some big thing that feels great, and then they just leave. They're much happier fighting game players than me. I'm like, fuck, I messed up. I should have done this. God damn it. Then there's this guy over here is like, heavy punch, go burr, and he's just the happiest human on the planet. There's no, required level of knowledge before you can have fun in a fighting game, or required level of knowledge before you can go online and play. It came up for TFH. It came up for Skullgirls. It came up for this game. It came up for Power Rangers. It keeps coming up. People are still frustrated that I play the game against another person without knowing everything about it. You have to go online and play the game to learn. It's just the way there is to it. I don't know how to break it to people. I always like playing against someone who's good when I first start because they will move and play and assume like a player who's familiar with the game. And so my goal is to end up there. People all the time in my videos leave comments about being a new fighting game player and like people don't know what it's like to just get beat up and be new and how hard it is to be new. I'm a new fighting game player like once a month or twice a month. And when I pick up a brand new game, what happens every time is that the most experienced people possible say, holy shit, Sajam's playing my game. I have to go whoop his ass. They roll up to the stream and I get beat up as badly as any new player would going online. If I were to play against other beginner players, right, with how fast I learn and how, I'm used to playing a lot of fighting games, I'd probably do really well. But because of my particular situation as a streamer, I will always lose extremely bad when I start. And that's okay. To be honest, that's better because it shows that when you start a new game, you're going to lose. If I played against beginners and won, then people would be like, oh, Sajam learned a game and he just won in the beginning. I can't learn that fast. You know what I mean? I feel like it's disheartening to people. If Hotashi IK'd me, I would have whooped his ass the next match for sure. You know what the other thing is? I saw people in the Fexel Discord, which I joined because it was recommended to me to join, and I joined it, and everybody was just, the only topic of discussion in the last 24 hours is how pissed off everybody was at my stream. I got a bone to pick. I went to this Fexel Discord. I was like, hello, fellow Fexilians. Any of you have any neat gogi to talk about today? Everybody was talking shit. They're all unhappy with the way I learned. They're all so pissed. They're like, Sajam hates Fexel. Sajam had such a bad time, and he was so unhappy playing Fexel. So I went back. I did something I haven't done in a while. I just went back and watched my matches, like the whole set. I was like, was I just like super pissed the whole time? I get hit by Cross of Tatsu. I was like, that was cool. He like neutral jumps, and I'm like, oh, neutral jumping seems good in this game. Okay. He hits me with a combo. I'm like, oh, that's how combos work. Tight. I mess something up. I'm like, damn it. I fucking missed my super right there. I'm like, I seem normal. I don't understand why everybody thought I was having such a bad time. Yeah, the only thing I was mad about was that the game itself is a bad package. Can I just talk to you guys about something real quick? Look, I play a lot of fighting games. You can be honest when your fighting game is missing things. Can I just talk to fighting game players? You guys defend your fighting game in weird ways. Ways that I don't understand. When I started playing Fexel, I was like, this game animates a little ugly. And they're like, no, NRS games are worse. And I'm like, okay, look, I love NRS games. They animate ugly as sin. I got you. But you're allowed to be honest about your game. Like, I love Killer Instinct. Here, I'll do you a solid. I love Killer Instinct. The lobbies in Killer Instinct suck. They're very old and they're very dated. They're not good. That stuff is super annoying. But I love KI. In fact, the person most familiar with the game probably knows its flaws the most. You're allowed to say that KI's lobbies are bad. NRS animation is worse than Fexel? That pogo jump I did gave all the NRS down threes a run for its money. You're allowed to say your own game is ugly. It's part of the charm. There's a compilation video of me talking about how ugly Kim Woo's face is in Killer Instinct. I love Killer Instinct. I commentated the World Cups for KI. I made KI videos constantly. People called me a shill. I was making no money doing it. You can just be honest about it. That's okay. With Fexel, I had a lot of fun playing it the first time. I think the functionality and the package of the game is very bad. Of all the games I've played recently, it has one of the worst packages as a fighting game. It's definitely up there. I can think of very few games that have been worse for user experience. I think the game is fun for my experience, but I'm not going to lie to you and be like, no, Fexel is really, it just delivers, boom, hard-hitting fighting game action. The only game tough enough for the Jamagon. Now, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty rough, especially because, you know, I've been playing a lot of games with rollback recently, and the rollback games I've been playing have been feature-rich, like Skullgirls and Power Rangers and TFH. I understand it's a low-budget game. TFH is a huge budget game. Yeah, TFH and Skullgirls are not huge budget games either, I guess, eh? Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I'm playing Fexel. There's a reason I paid $45 to play it on PC. It has rollback, so I bought the game to support the developers. That's why I bought the game.
Listen.
45 smackaroos for that package. Yeah, I think TFH cost me 15. Skullgirls cost me... I took the shoestring off my old beat-up Converse and I handed it to them, to Lab Zero. Here's my shoestring, and I got Skullgirls. $60 for Grand Blue. Destruction. Grand Blue is like it robs people more than almost any other game. I love Grand Blue. It's just the online is dog shit. So, you know, it'd be due.